All right, so now that we're coming back, we just got to take a look at how to use the subsidiary ledger for the first time. Okay, so now that we completed our transaction now, we can go ahead and move on and go on to the next scenario. Okay, so now that that is done, what else had happened on the 5th? Okay, what else happened here?
We bought a computer system.
Okay, what happened before that? So there's a transaction right here.
Oh, we hired somebody.
Yes, we hired Kim Robinson, all right, an interior design consultant, all right. So, what can we do with her? Can we journalize this transaction?
By hire her, we didn't make her an employee. We just hired her as a consulting.
Like we hired her as a consultant or a vendor, or
Yes, we hired her as a consultant slash vendor. Yes.
okay.
Okay. Now,
Um,
the go
I
ahead.
don't think there's anything to journalize because of this, though.
Perfect. Good.
We didn't purchase anything specific from her. She didn't provide any services yet, I guess.
Good.
We'd phrase it.
Good. That's excellent. Yes. We only hired her. Did she complete a job yet? We don't know. Did she bill us? No.
No,
Was there a transaction at hand? Do we know how much where it's going to cost me to hire her?
no.
No. We have no transaction here, no a valid amount. So in this case, all we did was simply hire her. All right. So that validates to us that we do not need to. This information isn't significant enough to journalize because we don't have all the information. All we know is that we hired her. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at ordering this computer system. So let's take a look. So here we made a purchase from Computers R Us. All right. What did we buy from Computers R Us?
Computer
Computer,
system.
printer,
We
copier.
mm-hmm, we bought a computer, a printer, and a copier. All right. Here we have the subtotal here, and we also have tax. So the total due is 3133.84. Okay. So this is going to be something that we need to calculate because now we have an including factor right here. What is that?
Tax.
We have to consider that we have sales tax. So in this case, because we're paying into the sales tax, right? We're not owing the sales tax. So don't mistake that we have to do a sales tax payable. No, we're paying into the sales tax, not owing the sales tax. So with that being said, now that we have to include, right? We know what our total amount is. We wrote a check for 3133, right? It says on our receipt that we wrote a check for check number 1502 for this full amount. Now we have to discuss on how are you going to distribute the tax, right? So in this case, tax must be included to the total amount of the asset. So in this case, I have listed right here a computer, printer, and a copier. Now, question to you is how much tax am I going to distribute to each and every single one? Right? I have a grand total of, let me see, $238.84 worth of tax. Okay, so how am I going to distribute that to every single item? Any guesses? Any thoughts?
2,000 the tax, then divided by 3. Yes.
No. No, that is wrong, because if you do that, then, if you take that and you divide it by 3, then you're charging way too much tax for your copier and your printer. And then look at your computer. Your computer's $1,000. Why does it get less tax? Is that true? Is that really true when you're dealing with sales tax? Like, can you
I guess
can
we should do it, yeah, proportionally.
you would do it proportionally? How? What do you mean by that? Explain.
Well, so you would take what I mean. Well, I guess you could just figure it out based on the percentage, right? So you take the dollar amount of the computer and then do the 8.25%.
Absolutely.
Calculate, and that would be the amount of tax for that, and then for each one, and it would add up to 238.84.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so yes, in this specific case, since we went to the store and we purchased these items, right? We went to Computers R Us, right? We got the store receipt, whatever. So every purchase that you make, whether you make just a purchase of the computer or the whole package itself, no matter what you're doing, you're going to prorate the tax. So if you purchase everything individually, you're going to get the same result as if you purchase them all together. So with that being said, you're going to have to prorate it like Dan said, where you're going to take each and every single one and you're going to charge sales tax, or you're going to multiply it by the 8.25%, right? Because I indicated that tax is 8.25%. And that's how you're going to figure out how much each item is going to be. So in this case, it's up to you. You can use Excel. That's what it's meant for. So you could do calculations right here directly into the Excels. Or if you would like to be more comfortable with a calculator, you may do that. So you may do so as well. But here, I'm going to go ahead and indicate every single item I have here. So I have a computer, I have a printer, and I have a copier. All right.
I
So
have a question.
go for it.
Sorry. The one that I have for week 1 doesn't show a copier on my end. I have a computer system and a printer, and I have a different
Same mine.
see. We don't have the one with the copier.
Okay, because this is the same one I put revised, and I own. Well, in this case, I'll figure out it after the break. But in this case, let's just take a look at this. Do you still have the sales tax and everything?
Yes, the 8.25 and the check number. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah, it just comes out as different amounts.
okay. Okay. Let me go ahead and double confirm this, because I should have uploaded the week 1 for, let me see.
Yeah, because I didn't see no revised one.
My class, Coffee Cafe. Where are we? Coffee Cafe. 2020 revised. So then you guys should get this version right here. First, week 1. Okay, I have week 1, and then I should have a revised week 1. I might have accidentally uploaded the wrong one. Let me double check on this one. This one up, let me see. Okay,
Yeah.
I see it. Okay, so this is the one that we're supposed to be using. Okay, that's right, correct. I don't know why I have the revised one, or the unrevised one. Because I know I shouldn't have, uploaded any other one. Okay, that's weird. So let's just go ahead and use the one that you have in your classroom. So everything so far, so we're looking at the week 1 revised, or in this case, it's supposed to be revised. So you should only have a computer system and a printer. So no copier.
Yes.
Okay, so let me go back to my journal and get rid of the copier. Okay, so I guess I think I modified this so then it's realistic, because if you have a printer, you're more likely to have a copier with it, especially if you're paying for this price, you know, $350. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. And so here the computer is worth $16.95 and the printer is for the $350. Okay, and we're distributing the tax. So here the tax is going to be $168.71. So this, okay, so let's go ahead and go with this one. So how, if the computer is going to be for $16.95 and you're multiplying it by the if you want to include the price as well, you're going to multiply by 1.0825, right? And how much are we going to get for the total computer, just dividing the tax into it? Or in this case, how much tax is going to be towards the computer?
$139.84.
139.84. Okay, plus the 16.95 because we're adding it to the computer. How much is it going to be? Is the computer?
It's going to be 1834.84.
1384.34. Now, of course, you can solve for the next tax, but there's only 2 items, right? So you could just take the total amount that you have, which is the 221371, and you can just subtract that amount right directly from it. So you should be able to get a total of $378.87. Okay. And of course, we paid with a check, so therefore, what account am I going to be considering here if I paid with a check?
Checking account.
Checking, good. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our chart of accounts because we've entered in the information to solve for what the total amounts are. So let's go ahead and locate where each asset belongs because we purchased fixed assets, right? So in this case, it's going to be under the main account of office equipment. So what is going to be the account number for the computer? Let me see, 14010, and then how much is what number is the printer?
14020.
Good. So here we have 14010 and 14020. Okay, and then lastly, what's my checking account number?
10100.
10100. All right, good. So since we did the math here, I know for sure for a fact that my debits and my credits should match. And in this case, let's go ahead and write our check first and then come back and figure out the rest of the journal, okay? So head to your check register, all right? When was the date I wrote this check out for?
June 5th.
Okay, for what amount?
221371.
221371. And who did I make this check payable to?
Computers are us.
Computers are us. Computers are us. Boom. All right. Now we know for a fact that the check number is 1502. So let's go ahead and add that to our journal. Okay. So our journal is going to consist of 2 things. Our vendor. So we wrote this to we went to computers are us. Okay. And lastly, we wrote a check for 1502. All right. That's all the information we need for this particular transaction. All right. So next is going to be the ledger. All right, so first things first on our journal was that we bought a computer. All right, so let's go ahead and find our computer first, and then we'll deal with checking very last. So here's my furniture, here's my computer. All right, so again, 6.5, we purchased a computer. Do you need to write that you purchased a computer if you're putting it into the computer account? No, it's pretty straightforward, right? You're increasing your computer assets, right? So it's pretty clear that when you increase your computers, right, you made a purchase of a computer. So in this case, you don't need to be specific. You don't need to write that you purchased a computer because it's kind of self-explanatory by you entering an amount in your computer asset account. All right? So in this case, what is my post reference? We are still on general journal number 1, and we've increased our account by $1834.84. Right? And of course, with that, because we're in our beginning amounts in our account balances, therefore we're going to have a debit balance of $1834.84. All right? Then next is the printer. So here's the printer, and it is for 6.5. And let's see here. We have the item again. You already know you're buying a printer, and the general journal number. Let's see, what number is this? Number 1, and let's see, our debit amount is going to be for the $378.87. And of course, that means our debit balance is for the $378.87. So, all right. Now, lastly, we wrote a check. So therefore, we need to decrease our checking amount by the $2,000. So here, again, June 6th, as you can see. Now I can go ahead and write in my description that I wrote a check number. All right. I wrote check number 1502. All right. General Journal 1. All right. And this time I credited my account, right? I spent money. So I'm decreasing my assets. So in this case, if I'm decreasing my asset, I'm decreasing it by the 2020 113.71. And that should automatically update to $13,911.29. Okay. All right, so I'm spending my money like crazy in the first couple weeks, in the first couple days. Okay. All right. So now we completed our ledger. Who did we deal with?
Computer.
We dealt with computers are us. And computers are us is what kind of person? They are a vendor. So in this case, I'm going to click on vendors, and I'm going to scroll up until I find computers are us. Here's city printers. Computers are us. All right. Right. The date is June 6th. I'm going to go ahead and indicate that I bought a computer and printer. And I also wrote this on a check number 1502. Now you could be specific and say my computer cost me 18, while my printer cost me $378.87. Whatever you want to do, but in this case, I am okay with just this piece of information here. Now in this case, my invoice. What is my invoice number? What can I put as my invoice number?
The sales receipt number.
The sales receipt number. So in this case, it's number 84143. 84143. So I'm going to go ahead and indicate that in my ledger so I know in case for any reason 84143. Okay? For any reason I have an issue with the computer or I have an issue with the printer, I can go back with this receipt and get a refund or get a replacement or whatever I need to do for it, okay? So that's why it's so important that you keep track of your records and you keep your receipts, okay? So in this case, post reference is going to be same thing, general journal number 1. And because we went into the store and bought it, do we have a due date?
No.
No, because we bought it that same day. So there is no due date because the invoice number or sales receipt number, whatever you want to call it, right? It's just so that you can keep track of the billing information. But in this case, I do not have a due date because I paid it at time of purchase. Okay? Same thing, I didn't make any advance payments. But what was my total amount on my receipt? Right? What was the total amount written on my receipt?
221371.
22, so that's going to be my invoice right here. 221371 is going to be my amount in my invoice. Did I make any returns and allowances? Not yet. Did obviously when I go into the store, was there a discount? No, because I bought it straight up full price. And did I make a payment to it?
Yes.
Yes, you did. You wrote a check number 1502 for the amount of the 221371. So therefore, if I punch in my formula once again, right, it's going to be equal, it's going to be the invoice number, the amount that you owe, okay? And you're going to minus, of course, any prepaid accounts. You're going to minus any returns and allowances, minus any discounts, and of course you're going to minus any payments. So in this case, once I press enter, I should owe Computers R Us nothing. And that's true because we paid at time of service. So do we truly owe Computers R Us? No, we don't owe them anything. Okay. So now we are completed with our transactions. Any questions so far? Right? So that was a good example of distributing tax. And this, we're going to be doing this very often because, again, because when we make purchases of fixed assets, right, we have to assume every single cost to get the asset ready for service, right? A computer is already placed in service, right? All you have to do is plug into an outlet and it's ready to go, right? You don't need to install an operating services. You don't need to do anything else, right? Because when you turn on a computer, right, it should be straightforward, right? You just set it up through the window. That's not going to cost you any money to set it up. And same thing with a printer, right? It's not going to cost you money to set it up. Okay? So all of that information, right? All you do is to plug into a wall. So it's already ready in service. But the idea is that anything that is going to be involving in the cost of the asset, so that could include sales tax if you have to pay it, shipping, handling fees, right? If you need to train somebody to use a computer, that's going to be that's also going to be contributed contributed to the cost of the asset. But in this case, it's a computer. All right. So good job there. All right. So now we are still on the 5th of June, and what has happened here?
We paid for liability insurance.
Okay, for how much?
2023.
Yes, for two. Oh, sorry. Okay, so we have for the amount of $2,350. Good. We bought a 12-month insurance starting at June 5th. Because usually insurance start the day that you buy it, right? So in this case, we issued another check and we made it payable to who?
Surgeon Insurance Company.
Insurance.
Sargent Insurance Company. So we're dealing with another vendor, we're dealing with another check, and this time, what are we buying?
Insurance premium.
Insurance.
Insurance. We're buying insurance. Now, how many months are we buying worth of insurance?
12.
Can we expense it all in one day? Can we expense a full year's worth of insurance in one day? Take a wild guess, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
No, you cannot. Okay. All right. So, okay, no, because again, 12 months means that you've made an advance payment, as in you're paying for the whole year. Okay? So, in this case, no, you're not going to expense it all in one go, because how accounting works is you're going to expense it based on a monthly basis, right? So, I didn't actually let you know this, but at the end of the month is when we can make our adjustments, or that's our end of our period. This is a 12-month insurance. So, therefore, if it's starting as of June 5th, we can only expense it for that month of June. And then the rest of the 11 months are going to be considered prepaid insurance. All right. So that's where that hefty that terminology comes from, that prepaid insurance, that prepaid rent. So in this case, you're buying 11 months in advance. And every month you're going to expense it for every month that you use the insurance for. So in this case, you can't expense the whole year the minute you purchase it. So in this case, how are we going to journalize this?
Debit insurance premium.
Okay, good. Insurance what? Let's look at our chart of accounts. Do we have insurance something?
Let's see. Liability.
Okay, it's not something that you're going to owe because you already paid it in advance. All right.
Insurance expense.
You have insurance expense, and then what terminology will we use when we make an advance payment to something?
Correct.
Prepaid accounts?
Prepaid accounts, right? We have prepaid insurance. So in this case, those are the two exact accounts that we're going to be using, right? We need to pay for the month that we're currently in because it's starting as of June 5th. So that means I'm already dipping into my insurance. So in this case, I need to expense for the month for the month of June. Okay? So that's where insurance expense is going to be. Okay? For the month of June. All right? And then your prepaid accounts is going to be the other 11 months remaining on that insurance. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to use prepaid accounts because I don't have prepaid insurance. So what is my insurance expense account number, Nilo, since you found it?
Alright. Insurance expense. 60400.
Good. 60400. Good. What about my prepaid accounts?
18600.
18600. 18600. And lastly, how did I pay for this?
Checking.
You paid with a check. So again, make sure you write checking, which is what account number? All right, what's my checking account number?
And 100.
10100. Okay, so if we know that we wrote a check for the total amount of the $2,350, okay, how much is it going to cost me per month? How do I figure that out? How do I calculate how much insurance I'm going to be charging per month?
Is it 2350 divided by 12?
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and put that in there. So I'm going to do equal round just in case I get a funky number. So equal round, okay, I'm going to take my 2,350. I'm going to divide that whole thing by 12 because I bought a 12-month insurance. If I just want to know how much it's going to cost me for the month of June, I'm going to divide the whole entire thing by 12. And then I'm going to do comma 2 because I want 2 decimal places. So how much is going to be my insurance expense for the month of June?
$195.83.
$195.83. So therefore, how much is going to be my remaining amount for the rest of the 11 months?
$21.56.17.
21.54. I got 54. 17. All right. Okay, so that's how much prepaid amount. That means that's enough for 11 months, okay? Where I have to expense for this current month because I'm already using my insurance as of the day I bought it, okay? So there you go. That's the total amounts, and guess and my debits match my credits in this case, all right? But before we fill out the rest of the information, reword the check. So let's go ahead and determine what check number that is by going to the check register. All right. So again, I bought this on the 5th of June for the total of $2,350. To who did I make this payment to?
Surgeon Insurance Company.
Sargent Insurance Company. Boom. All right. Okay, now let's go ahead and go back to my journal because now I know what number I used. I used check number 1503. So in this case, I'm going to indicate 2 things. Who my vendor is, which is Sargent Insurance. In here, you can abbreviate company, co. And I wrote a check number 1503. All right. So that is going to be the completion of my journal. So now, once I've done that, I can go ahead and move on to my ledger to update my accounts. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to the ledger and let's update my account. So what's the first thing I see here? Insurance expense. Where am I going to find my insurance expense?
Expense.
Good. Under expenses. So, right, remember all my expenses are going to be in alphabetical order. So, where I left off was rent expense. So I'm just going to keep scrolling up until I see insurance expense. Here's freight insurance expense. Okay. 6.5. And my note here is insurance for the month of June. Okay. And then post reference, again, we're still on general journal number 1. And we debited the account by $195.83. So therefore, my debit balance, because this is the first line item, it should be reflecting as $195.83. All right. Next thing that we have is a prepaid account, which is, we talked about this before, it is an other asset because it's an intangible asset, right? We bought insurance. Can you physically touch insurance? you can touch the insurance card, but you can't really touch insurance because it's intangible, right? So in this case, I'm going to go scroll all the way down until I find my prepaid account. So this should be towards the bottom, right? 18,600 should be towards the bottom. Okay, all right, I located my prepaid accounts. And now I'm going to go ahead and journalize this. So here I'm going to be descriptive. All right, I'm going to say that this is an advanced insurance for 11 months. All right, I think months doesn't. Okay. And of course, we're still on the same journal page. And this time, I'm increasing my account by the 2154.17. So, let's practice that formula once again. Okay, I'm increasing my accounts, my prepaid accounts, right? So in this case, I'm going to go up one, so the previous balance. I'm going to add any credits, and I'm going to subtract any, add any debits, and I'm going to subtract any credits. So in this case, my total balance amount is going to be $6,654.17. And what I'm going to do is, to save some extra time, I'm going to go ahead and pull this information all the way down. Right? So next time I use another prepaid account, which hence we will, obviously these are geared towards how many transactions you will be having. So in this case, we will be looking into making more changes to the prepaid account, right? So I pulled the formula down, and I still have $6,654.17. Right? Last but not least, we have to update our checking account. So scroll all the way up to the top. Okay. Here's my checking account. Again, June 5th. Check number 1503. All right. General journal number 1. And this time, I'm going to be crediting my account for $2,350, right? I spent money, right? Because I had to pay for insurance. So in this case, I'm decreasing my checking account, and it should decrease by another $2,000, making my grand total in my bank account should reflect as $11,561.29. Okay. All right. Now that I've finished my ledger, last thing I have to do is I have to update my subsidiary ledger. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Subsidiary ledger. All right. Who is Sergeant Insurance to me? Who is Sergeant Insurance to me?
Vendor?
They are a vendor. So again, your vendor should be in alphabetical order. So we got Higher Temps. We have all these people. LV Remodeling. Landlords Properties. Las Vegas RG. Keep scrolling down because they're SQPQRS. So here we are. Sergeant Insurance Company. All right. Again, date is 6/5. Your notes here is that you paid a 12-month insurance plan. All right. And also, since we made a payment, you want to also include that you made a payment using check number 1503. Okay. So again, is there an invoice number? In this case, no. All right, it's a contract. So you can skip that part right there. Post reference. Once again, this transaction happened on General Journal page number 1. Is there a due date for your insurance? In this case, no, because we already paid the whole thing in one shot. We paid the full 12-month plan, and there was no billing information that we need to take a look for because we already paid it off right then and there. So there's no due date. Did we make a prepaid amount? No, you can't pay insurance ahead of time. I don't know if that makes any sense. But in this case, no, there is no prepaid amounts here. But the invoice number, how much did they charge you for that 12-month plan?
$23.50.
$23.50. So that means $23.50 is going to be in the invoice amount. Okay? All right. Obviously, there'll be a few things that you'll know that are not going to be true, right? Can you return insurance? You might have to fight or get a lawyer to help fight you for that. You most likely you're not going to get discounts on insurance. And did you pay for it? Yes, you did.
Yes.
You paid with a check number 1502. So in this case, the formula is going to be your invoice amount, okay? Minus any prepaid amounts, minus any returns and allowances, minus any discounts, minus any payments. So in this case, I owe 0 to Sergeant Insurance, okay? All right. For any reason you do, go ahead and cancel your insurance. There are some leeways and loopholes where you will end up getting a prepaid amount where they kind of refunded you the money, and in this case, you'll never get your money back. They're more likely to say, "Oh, but I'll give you a credit for the next time you purchase an insurance with us." All right. Most likely, you're never gonna get your money back, especially when you deal with insurance companies. All right. Just a little FYI there. So in this case, we owe $0 to Sergeant Insurance. All right? And now we are completely done with our transaction. Okay? So as you can see, we progressed from using 1 sheet to 2 sheets to now 3 sheets. Next time around, we're going to be utilizing our inventory sheet. So therefore, we're going to be dealing with 4 sheets tomorrow, possibly tomorrow. Say that again.
I don't use my sheet. I just watch it.
Oh, okay. If you're able to use 1 sheet, then that's completely fine too. What I was trying to say is like you have 4 books that are open.
No, but I mean I don't use the ledger I open.
Okay. If you don't use the ledger, that is okay. Just make sure that at the end of the day, when you do your final, that you understand how to use the ledger. Okay. All right. So, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna stop here for today. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight this little section here, saying that we completed this. So when we come back to our journals and continuing our transactions, we're actually going to start on June 6th. Okay, so I'm going to highlight it so I know where I left off, and then any questions in regards of how we're doing this. So again, for the first 2 weeks, so from the 1st all the way to the 14th, I'm going to be asking you questions along the way, but I'm going to be showing you how to do it. All right? Once week 3 starts, you guys are going to be telling me what to do. So make sure that you're paying attention and you're kind of figuring it out yourselves. What can you do? What should you do? And how to do it. Okay? So right now I'm teaching you a sequence, right? I'm teaching you journal first, general ledger second, subsidiary ledger third. Okay? All right? Any questions?
I can enter that data on this Excel.
Yes, you can if you know how to make copies of it, but just remember, like I've mentioned before, the more bigger that you make your Excel file, the more information that you hold on it, the heavier the file is going to be. And then every time you open it, it's gonna lag and it's gonna take forever to load all the information. So if you want to do that, that's completely fine with me. If you want to combine all the books into one.
But I'm only watching here.
I'm sorry.
I'm just only watching.
That's completely fine as long as you understand what's going on.